Hello, everyone. We're back for the final episode of the Blacklorette podcast, Melanin Misadventures. And let me just tell you right now that my anger about this episode was so deep that I fucked up our first recording. No lie. Like, I did not have my levels and situations set up to where we're having to record this again. That's how angry I am about this moment. But let me introduce my co-host, Joy. I'm Jacqueline, and we're back.
Yeah, this is, I feel like I'm gonna really, like, if nothing else, I went through a whole season of this bullshit just for this last recording.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what happened. And nothing is going to make it better because, as I said last night, when I found out that our 3-hour finale of the Bachelorette was gonna be this weird amalgamation, I was pissed. Like, I don't understand why they did it that way, but they did, and it was long as hell, and it was awful. Like, I mean, I told you about it. I was like, this is just, ugh.
It not only was it long, it was awful. I mean, we mentioned this before, but we have completely two different viewpoints of the show because I've never watched any of the Bachelor franchise. Jacqueline has watched a lot of the Bachelor and Bachelorette franchise and has a frame of reference. We both agreed, like, no, this is the worst thing we've seen in a long time. Friend of the show, Elan, who was on episode 8 as a guest, also was like, I've been watching this shit for 15 years, and this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yes, Lord, yes. This was shitty. And I'm like, this is like top 5 shitty things that have happened on The Bachelorette. Like, the dude that was on twice and like one season didn't pick someone, Brad Warder, for whatever his name is, when Juan Pablo didn't propose and told the girl at the end of it, I like you a lot, instead of saying I'm in love with you. And like, it was just awful. And this is the thing, like, I am so frustrated with this season. I'm so done. I'm so pissed. Like, this is the deal. At this episode, I expected you to be the one to be this pissed because she was choosing Brian. I feel like you made it past acceptance. I got tricked into thinking that she was going to choose Peter. I don't know how, but I did. I was like, you know what? That's what's going to happen.
I knew she was going to, I knew, like, in my spirit, I knew she was going to pick
And my mind knew it, my heart didn't. Because again, I was a slow burn on Peter, but like, honestly, like, his Instagram, and when I discovered he was a Packer fan, girl, I was picking out wedding arrangements. I was like,
but doesn't that say a lot that? Yeah, doesn't it say a lot though that since episode 1, I was like, yo, Peter's in my top 3, and even I didn't think he was gonna win. That says a lot. Where I was like, yo, I mess with Peter. I think Peter can make it far. I love the gap tooth thing. Like, I was like, they're gonna have some beautiful gap tooth babies. Like, he seems very sincere. I think what the reckoning is I think a lot of people, there's nothing worse than being disappointed. Ain't nothing worse than being disappointed by another black person, especially a black woman. If you're a black woman and you're seeing her in a different light, and I think that's what people are coming to terms with. Where you mentioned this often, like, she's one of the most, if not the most, likable bachelorette that they've ever had on the franchise. And so,
then to do this,
not
anymore.
And then to
all
do
that
this,
goodwill is gone.
Right, and then to do this, like, as somebody who's a lifelong watcher, like you feel away. Me, I was always on the fence with Rachel because I just didn't like her decision making. I was like, yo, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. I'm gonna respect your decision, but like, I something about it was just like, there's certain aspects of her that I was like, I can't get jiggy with, and this all culminated into the finale where I was like, and I definitely can't get jiggy with it because
and this is the thing, like, I gave Rachel all the chances because, again, it's edited, it's a microcosm, there's a lot of things that you can interpret it. But the one thing I will say about this long as fuck finale, as bad as it was, the one thing that was redeeming was part of it was live, and the live part is the part you can't fake. And that was the part Rachel was the most fake. And that was the part where I was like, oh, boo, I see you. Like,
you see what I'm saying?
And like, I'm done with you. Like, I've pegged you.
She doesn't do well. And I will say this. It sounds weird. Every time Rachel's on a live format, I don't like her.
No.
Like, when she was on the Mintel Law, I wasn't a fan of her. And I surely wasn't a fan of this these live reactions, and not the way y'all probably think I wasn't, but yeah, we'll talk more about it. So let's get into the content itself. We return in the episode.
Go ahead.
From the conversation that Peter has had with Rachel. And here's another thing. Peter has had this conversation with Rachel at least 10 different times over the last 3 episodes.
I know.
And I'm always so lost on why they keep discussing this if they both are at an impasse and they both clearly want 2 different things. And so it's what's confusing to me, and I think this is where I made my peace with in regards to Peter and Rachel. If Peter didn't want to do the whole quote unquote journey, which if I never hear that word, it'll be too soon.
Yes, girl.
If Peter is not into the quote unquote journey and he's not drinking the Bachelorette Kool-Aid and he's not a company man for the Bachelorette or the franchise or respects it, why the fuck are you going to sign up for the show?
So I have a little inside scoop on that. Peter's a little bit older, remember this. And apparently, with Peter, I might add, he actually, what's the word I'm looking for? He actually wasn't the one that made him go. He was actually convinced to apply for The Bachelor. If you go on his Instagram, he talks about it and he says, like, I had been asked several seasons, I need to go. And then he finally did it this past season because of Rachel. It was literally like, I really like this girl. This is someone that is going to intrigue me, because I guess up until that point, all of the girls that were on The Bachelor, none of them really clicked with him. Like, and he wasn't the guy that was just going to go for the sake of going, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Because they never tell you this, but a lot of the guys are repeats. They didn't put them on someone's season, and so they put them on someone else's season.
Right. No, and I can understand that to a certain degree, but like, if he has any idea of what the show is like, he knows that, like, there is a 99.9% chance that even if he wasn't on the show, this love was not going to be real. So he could have stepped to her after the show. Like, in 3 to 6 months, she going to be divorced anyway. So, hey, sis.
This is my kicker, is like, I think that, and I get that, but there's a certain part of me that understands why he's also not going to make that empty gesture. Because this is the kicker. Look. No,
I agree with you. I think that here's where I net it out. I think both of them are wrong to a certain degree. How it panned out and culminated, I was just like, both of y'all are really flawed in terms of some of your thinking. Now, we've talked about this before. Peter, I agree with you. On the logic standpoint, why are you getting engaged to somebody that you have not been monogamously dating for 2 months? Y'all have never been on a real, actual date where it's just you and him, and you are just dating him, and he is just dating you. I'm with you. Peter's correct in that regards. Peter is where he's incorrect is, bruh, it's the Bachelorette. There is no logic in this. If you signed up for it, and she's been very clear from the get-go that, I want a ring. This is what I want. I want to be engaged. There is no like, oh, we'll just not be committed or whatever. Though I think the logic is flawed, but she's been very clear. Why would you sign up for this season? On Rachel's standpoint, Rachel has been very clear. She's been very consistent with what she wanted. So I can't fault her for that. There's where her correctness is. Where she's wrong is keeping Peter on all of these seasons if he has also been very clear that he is not ready for engagement. When his mother, with the I Love Black Men haircut, was telling her that he is not going to propose, girl, that was an omen from God. Let him go. Cut him loose. This is the kicker, though. This is where I disagree with you as someone that has watched the show. Not all of them end in an engagement. They don't. They don't always end in an engagement. Like, they don't. A lot of them do, but not all of them. Sure, and I'm fine with that too, but she has been like, but Jacqueline, she has been like overtly clear.
She's been clear. I know she's been overtly clear on what she wants, but this is the kicker. That's again, who has the power in the relationship? And honestly, Peter was the one that said, we should end this, not her. She didn't really put the catalyst down of like, we should break up until he did. And to me, that says that she could never let her feelings get out of the way of what she wanted. That she basically threw a fit and thought that it would come to the point where he would just say it the way she wanted it to. Because this is the thing. He did say it. I'm getting ahead of myself. But all I will say is, even when she was given what she wanted, because she wasn't given it on the platter in the which that she wanted it, she threw it back. And fuck her for it.
I agree. No. And I agree with you. But I would also point out that when they were at an impasse, Peter was wrong too, because he definitely decided to just throw it at her, but like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna, sure, let's get engaged. If you want me to, I'll do it. Like, where I'm just like, dude,
but that's what she wanted. She wanted an empty gesture.
Right, but if you're so steadfast in how you feel, and again, I agree with Peter. I think he should be steadfast in how he feels. Then don't just like throw in the towel because it got tough. Like, bruh, just say, nah, okay, well, I gotta go. Which he did later in the fact, and I appreciate it. Cut it loose.
The kicker. I know why he did that, because he didn't want to lose her, and he was realizing in that moment, because honestly, I think both of them believed in their heart that the other person was going to bend. And when they came to the point where they realized that the other person wasn't going to bend, Peter was the only one that did bend at all, and Rachel was not enough to say, well, you didn't bend in the right way. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that's the way that I would want to be told that I'm going to propose tomorrow either, but she wouldn't even go past that. She was just like, you know what? You're not going to give me what I want the way that I want to give it, so I'm taking my cookies and I'm going to go home, knowing that she didn't give a fuck about Brian. Look, I'm going to get ahead of my...
And I agree with you. I think on both standpoints, like, seeing it live, seeing and remembering, kind of doing a rewind back in the episodes because I listened to some of our episodes back and, like, going through the journey with these two, yeah, there was definitely some faulty pieces on both ends, but I am firmly on the side of Peter and how he felt.
Yeah, and not just about how he felt, what he ended up doing.
Right.
Moving on. So Peter and Rachel, they have this impasse, but they agree to, like, we need more time, so let's go to the fantasy suite. And this was like the first betrayal of the evening, because how the fuck you gonna wake up next to that man who looked so good?
You know, he looked great. I'm not gonna lie to you. He had that bad hair. He had that bad head. Yes, he looked great.
Girl, I was just like, damn.
And
like,
here's another thing. I just have... So, here's my thing also, where again, things I don't understand. Y'all have been having this argument for 5 episodes. I'm not saying that you don't give him the key, but I'm also saying you should just not give him the key. Like, I really feel like if y'all are so at this...
Because she really cared about him. Look, this is the thing. They're fucking... Look. They are the couple that is going to be a harder relationship, but it's going to be a more worthwhile relationship. And she chose macaroni and cheese.
I definitely don't disagree with you. Like, and I agree. Like, I like their relationship, but for them to be at so much of an impasse as they have for the last, like, 6 days...
This is the shitty thing. They're at an impasse on a magical thing that is created by a television show. And that is the only thing that this is for. This is some bullshit concept of The Bachelor, and the only reason why it was an issue, if Rachel was the Bachelor suitor and Peter was the Bachelor, they would be riding off into the sunset, because he would know enough to say, hey, we don't have to get engaged on this show, let's go live together, let's go be together, and we can be together, and this will be happy. But because she had the power and she was weak as fuck and had no backbone and fell in love with the idea of being married more than someone's actual physical opinions, fuck her. Moving on. Back to... Oh, I'm so mad at this woman. Like, you cannot...
No, and I'm with you. The only thing I would say is, and we'll talk more about it later in the episode, I think I came to a realization, and I came to a realization earlier in the season, that there's you can't blame ABC as much for how much Rachel looks in the light and how funny she looks in the light.
Yes.
Now, there's definitely some things that are strictly ABC, and y'all have heard me on this podcast say fuck ABC and Chris Harrison for some of the stuff that they've done.
And there's probably some things that are editing, but there are some very clear moments of Rachel just being fucking stupid.
Right. And yes, there are definitely some Rachel moments where I'm just like, yo, I just don't think you make good decisions, bruh.
No.
And that's where I feel, so it's a bit satisfying to see people like, okay, I'm seeing where you're coming from now. Because I kind of been here since mid-season where I was like, something looking funny in the light in terms of her decision making. But that's just me. But, okay, moving on.
Yeah, so Rachel has this moment. They wake up in the fantasy suite. Things feel like they're better. I mean, honestly, them waking up together was more like a real couple than anything I've ever seen. That's the other thing you have to understand. I've seen these things before. The things with Rachel and Peter are real. They're accurate, they're genuine, and they're authentic. And the things with her and Brian, which we then cut to on the next date, are completely manufactured.
Oh,
she
that
could not
so
stop.
Awful.
Yeah, it was so awful. And she could not stop thinking about Peter. And it wasn't because what he said was controversial. If she had made up her actual mind to be with Brian, it would have not bothered her, the fact that Peter was not giving her what she wanted. Because in the end, let's not keep it real. That's what this really boils down to. I want someone who wants what I want with me. I want what he wants with me, but I want it now. I can't give it to you now. Well, then fuck you. That to me is like cut all the other bullshit out. That's what it boils down to. I want what you want. You want what I want with me? Yes. Why can't you give it to me now? Because I'm not ready. I need more time. Well, fuck you. I want it right this minute. Fuck her. Fuck her for that. That's really what it boils down to. And this is the other thing. We'll get to this later. That right there being her impasse, I have lost every ounce of respect for her. So she's on the date with Brian, and she can't stop thinking about Peter because she knows that Peter is the one she actually has feelings with, and she's genuinely upset, realizing this is now what I'm going to be stuck with because he's not going to give me what I want.
I tell you that the only person that played second fiddle to Peter more than Brian was Eric, because Eric literally just came back on the show to get eliminated.
Yes, he so did. I mean, but was anybody shocked?
No, and let me tell you, shout out to Eric. Eric came out here looking like a respectable, non-angry black man.
Yeah,
he came out here smelling like roses.
The beard and the suit, and I was like, Eric, boo, you fucking do you.
Because
Can we talk about it?
He could have easily been like, yo.
Did you keep me around so they didn't call you the black girl that likes to date white boys? Because that's what he could have done.
I'm about to say, he could have looked real crazy, and I don't know if I would have blamed him so much, but he was out here like, I'm on national television. Y'all not gonna label me as this angry black man. I'm gonna give you a smile. So I watched this live with a couple of my coworkers / friends, and when he came out and sat next to her and looked at her and was like, "So how is your heart?"
We knew it was Brian. You knew it was Brian right at that moment, didn't you? I did.
No, not even that. My coworker literally, like, she had a physical reaction where she was just like, oh. Like, literally what she did.
See, and I took it the other way. Because the guys know who won. Right. You know, because they talk to each other. I knew at that moment when he said, how's your heart? I knew that it wasn't Peter. Because to me... Well, here's the thing. If it was Peter, she wouldn't be worried. He wouldn't be worried. He wouldn't be asking.
And here's another thing that frustrated the fuck out of me, which I want to be clear to our listeners. I am firmly on the side of Jacqueline. Her anger is valid and warranted because the way that Rachel did it was some fuck shit. Here's where I'm coming from. The fact that they've been having, y'all are not even engaged. Y'all have really only been dating for 2 months. These old married ass conversations and arguments that y'all have been having for 3 fucking episodes, and then once again when they're at the rose ceremony and they eliminate she eliminates Eric, she looks dead in Peter's eyes. Yeah. It was like I hope that the final 2 understand that I want to get engaged. And there's boyfriend playing or whatever the fuck she talked about. Yeah. And Peter's having a visceral reaction to that. Because she's clearly talking to you, bruh.
Yeah.
You're the only one.
There is no out to that. And this is the other thing. She basically just tried to dictate his guarantee, knowing that she can't give him one.
Right. And at the end of the day, she wanted a sure thing. So this is where we let's get into the second date. Because they did a holiday. Fuck Brian. I don't even want to go over his date. He got picked. Fucking Peter got picked surprisingly, but not surprisingly.
Before we go to Peter's date though, and we go to the Bachelor Notebook edition, as I like to call that breakup, because that shit was fucking epic. Can we go talk about Diggy real quick? Diggy is fucking the man on Twitter. I tried to get him to come on our podcast.
I tweeted him. I just tweeted him before we recorded. Like, listen, we will record just a special episode for you. This is what I can guarantee y'all. If we can get Diggy on the show, I will dust off my microphone and I will just do a special episode just with him. I'm not even joking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm not even joking. But we need. What do we need to do? Do we need to? Can we get Jamie to like retweet our tweet?
I did already. I tweeted at him from the BGN account, and it's like nothing.
Diggy playing games. Nothing. No, Diggy. Yeah. We will call out to you again. You are hilarious.
Yes.
We want you on a
show. Are gold.
Your live tweets have been a delight, and I just want you to come. Like, just come record with us. We'll record remote. If you in the city, let me know. I would definitely record with you in an actual studio. Like, whatever you want to do, bruh. We will figure it out.
And he's in LA. He's in LA too.
Right. Oh, listen. If you want to record in a live studio with Jacqueline, whatever you want to do, bruh, we will figure it out for
Thank
you. But Diggy, we just need to do a special episode of just with you. Like, this is our plea. We're gonna do another plea at the end of this episode, but just please, like, genuinely, you have been the highlight of. Literally, you have been the only bright spot in this fucking finale. I'm not even joking.
Well, we'll get to the one bright spot at the end, but I feel you. Listen, so back to Two Left, the two final dates. Peter, like, so Brian did his, and now we have Peter. And her and Peter...
Wait, before we start, here's where this is where I was like, yo, Rachel's looking funny in the light. Which my friend tried to argue with me that, like, yo, it's a producer. I'm like, but Rachel also has not been shy of speaking up when she wants to speak up. Rachel does this thing of pressuring people by taking them to church, and I don't bang it.
Yes!
This is not
she did the same thing with Dean.
She did the same thing with Dean. This is not the first time she has done it this season. To my friend's point, I don't think that she's deliberately like, we're gonna go to church. I think it's producers trying to like offer up the option, but she's not saying no either.
No.
And I'm sure she said no for other things in the past.
Yeah.
So, girl, what's good? Like, the whole pressuring people by taking them to a monastery or a church or whatever is uncomfortable. It's not cool. And this is where I was like, yo, Rachel's looking funny in the light. Like, I thought she was looking funny in the light before, but that whole taking Dean, who's been very clear to be an atheist, to church, I always thought was very iffy. And this is somebody who, me, myself, we've talked about it, I am more spiritual than religious. But I was just like, yo, you can't be doing that to folks. Like, that's not what you believe in. That's not what you believe in. Don't force them to go somewhere. No. I thought that shit was very Issa from Insecure. That was very manipulative.
Yes, it was. Hella manipulative. And and that's why, like, that date, I was not about it. And that, too, that's why they went through it very quickly, because it was all about what was going to happen once they got back to the room.
Right.
And they get back there, and we have the same conversation that we fucking had before.
Including commercials. We clocked in at about an hour and a half, and I was over it. Mm-hmm. It was so fucking long.
Yep. And this part was the only part of the episode that mattered. And I will say, for this 10 minutes of television, that was this moment and then the live reaction afterwards for 2 seconds, 15 minutes worth of television. Those little bits right there, if you want to just call it good TV, not necessarily what I want, that shit was the best television I've ever seen, because that shit was real. That shit was genuine, and that shit was heartbreaking. Like, that was the breakup to end all breakups. Everyone has been in that position, if you've been in love, where you are with someone who you love, if you've broken up with someone that you've been in love with, and you guys cannot come to an agreement. I did it over where we were going to live and broke up with someone. And if you're that immovable object against another immovable object, that your breakups look exactly the same, filled with love and knowing that it's over. Like, they knew it then, and we're all confused, like, is this really a breakup? Because Peter said he loved her, and she says he loves him, but then he says, I can't ask you to marry me tomorrow. I don't think I can. And honestly, no matter what they said after that, and there was a lot of back and forth after that, you fucking knew that it was over. Like, that was it.
They both were just, you can see, like, through the tears, there was just, like, a sense of, like, I'm very resigned right now. Like, yeah. I for both of them, I think they were just like, you know what? I'm tired of arguing about this for 5 episodes. Let's just...
Yeah. And this is the kicker.
Nobody's gonna bend.
This is the other moment when I literally lost it with Rachel. Peter turns to her and says, do you want to spend the rest of your life with me? And she says to him, I can't answer that. And that's when I was like, fuck you and the horse you rode in on, bitch. Because if you could have at least given him, of course I want to spend the rest of my life with you. then you could really look at him and say, do you want to spend your rest of my life with me?
Here's the thing.
And y'all could come to an agreement. But she said, I can't answer that for you.
So here's what I didn't know / understand. And keep in mind, this is not necessarily a Rachel critique, but an overall critique about the Bachelor and Bachelorette franchise. The fact that contractually, because you don't want to spoil the season, you have these leads who have to be essentially emotionally distant.
But even with their top two. They can do that. No, that is a total lie. They just edited it out. They could tell them guarantees all the fuck they want. It is not a thing for them not to tell them that.
Right. And I know and I hear what you're saying, but I can also see from Rachel's standpoint, because what I've learned throughout the season is she's definitely a company woman. When it comes to the franchise. So her saying like, I can't answer that, I was like, oh, this seems very like, oh, standards and practices of the Bachelorette.
Even less respect. I don't care what her reasoning for it was.
I'm with you.
You're asking for a guarantee without giving it.
I agree. It's the process / the rules and regulations of the Bachelor / the Bachelorette is bullshit. We all know this. And if you didn't know this, like I didn't, you now know this now, like watching this whole season through, is like, yo, they gotta do a lot of shit where you have these people literally putting their heart on the lines and you just smile at them and give them a kiss, or you're just like, I can't answer that. And you're just like, bruh, I'm literally bleeding here. And you're
because I can't propose to you after 8 weeks. Like, that is just, like, you say you went to UT, I'm gonna have to fucking check your degree, bitch. Like, I don't believe it. I just don't. Because how could you be that smart and that dumb not to get
the process, and that's the thing, like, I think the broader upset amongst people isn't necessarily the fact that the process is bullshit. I think we all know that. I think nobody was really expecting for Rachel to be so about the company mantle as much as she was throughout the season. That I think it threw some people for the loop.
This is the thing. We're about to get to it afterwards. There's a lot of money to be made by being a profitable member of The Bachelor.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, let's keep that real. Right. So, Peter says the one parting line, which was pretty fucking harsh, but it is absolutely true. He says, do you want to take a chance with me to build something great, or do you want to have a mediocre life? And he's basically saying with Brian, because we already know.
House left. We already know. So here's where the live, we had the conversation with the live, and this is where it was both looking funny in the light for me, for Peter and Rachel. So let me tell you why.
Only for Rachel for me, but go ahead.
So there's a couple of things. When he said that, I was like, yo, I'm not going to disagree with you. I actually agree with you, bruh. If I could shake your hand, I would. But the way he did it, it's just like, bruh, like, don't do that now. Her reaction to it after, because people were like, well, why after all this time is she getting at him now at the live show? I was like, well, she just had to watch him talk greasy about her live in front of an audience while he's sitting right next to her. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to get at you too.
Yeah.
Her saltiness too equally was unnecessary, just like his saltiness was unnecessary too. What he was
this is the kicker. Her saltiness was way more combative than his. His was more like, I'm salty because I feel like I'm getting attacked. And just so you know, Peter, let me give you a little spoiler. Yeah, you were getting attacked. You didn't like imagine it. She was coming at you because she was still pissed that you could not give her what you want. Like, it is literally the, like, I wanted a prize and you wouldn't give it to me, still salty.
Do you think, I genuinely don't Rachel think Lindsay. I think she's petty. I genuinely do not think she was attacking him. I really don't.
No. She was not attacking him in the sense of like, hey, blah, blah, blah. But she was criticizing him and putting him in a bad light. I didn't understand why you made it to this point and you couldn't do this. She was putting all of these things forward to be like, you did this, you did this, you did this. And never taking anything for herself.
So here's what this is too, because, and somebody brought this up on social media where I was like, I have to sit on this for a little bit, so I don't have a right answer. The way he said that he's feeling attacked, and she came back at him like, well, what are you feeling attacked about? And he couldn't have an answer. Someone who was a black woman was like, yo, I did not like how he presented that, because it sounded like to me, just like how she was trying to throw salt in his Bachelor campaign, he was, whether consciously or not, trying to portray her as this like very aggressive, angry black woman.
And I didn't take that. This is what I took from that. This is what I took from that, because I really did feel it. This is the problem. It's a two-person relationship. And yes, you can bring up all the mistakes that Peter made in the relationship and talk about how you're so frustrated that he didn't do this and he didn't do that. And you can paint a picture. No, he's not being attacked. You're just describing what he did. But the classy thing to do after that is, and despite me seeing all those things, I proceeded ahead of time and didn't check myself early enough. These are the things that I did wrong and that got us to this point. This is the things that I could have done better before we got to this point. This is what I should have done. She took no accountability for her actions with Peter and just said, I let my heart lead me to this point until I realized that you couldn't give me what you want, and just made it all on him. And that's fucked up, because he was probably doing the exact same thing.
Okay.
All she did was describe all the things he did wrong, and I don't agree that he didn't do them wrong, but she took no culpability.
No, that I can't agree with. So this is where it started getting. I talked about how I thought it looked funny in the light with Peter. Let's talk about how it was looking funny in the light with Rachel. I agree. I think where she was saying this is the things that you did wrong in the relationship, and this is how I felt. But not even taking accountability of like, yo, at the end of the day, like, this is how I felt, this is how I should have let you go earlier, or something along those lines, where it's like, you are copying, like, hey, I fucked up in this place too. That's not cool.
He didn't lie.
Right.
He didn't lie. He told her.
Here's where she was, like, really looking funny in the light. Yo, she was not very subtle as she thought she was to throw salt in Peter's bachelor campaign. She made it very clear, this process ain't for you. And she said it more than once.
Yeah.
So that's where I was just like, okay,
times.
If you, like, I would have been fine with her saying what she said. I would have been fine with her being like, I wasn't living a mediocre life, and you were wrong for saying that. I'm living my best life, though I don't agree with it. And I would have been cool. Whatever. Keep it moving. The way she was, like, deliberately trying to throw salt in his bachelor campaign, that's where I was just like, girl, this is unnecessary. Like, you don't have to be... I love pettiness, but I feel like this is, like, you are taking a step way too far, considering you're engaged.
Yes. And this is the kicker. She repeated it, like, 3 or 4 times. And that was the thing where I was like...
That's where, that's where I was just like, girl, you're already engaged to the other man. It's been 2 months. He tried to contact you. He asked if he can contact you later. You said no. Like, he said that on live television. Why are you still hurt? Like, I'm still... Why are you still hurt? Exactly. That's where my confusion was. So that's where I was like, yo, both of y'all are looking funny in the light.
And wait a minute. The other thing she's fucked up for, this is the other thing, I'm not letting this get by. Her trying to rewrite history on why she was upset, and then saying, well, you know, I had questions about you in Geneva. If you had questions about him in Geneva, why did you let him go in Geneva?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Like,
I'm with you.
And then she said, wait a minute. No, this is the best part. She was just like, and it wasn't just that I was losing you while I was upset. It was my previous relationship. Bitch, fuck you. Don't lie. Don't lie. You were losing somebody you loved.
So here's where I was like, yo, like, as somebody who loves being petty, I feel like this is where the pettiness has gone out of control. I thought it was the trying to throw salt in his bachelor campaign. And then when obviously, fuck Brian, when he proposed again, fuck him again, she was pretty much like, we're just going to take it slow, and we're just going to get to know each other. Which is like throwing more salt in the wound that is Peter. Like, she deliberately said that. Like, I really feel that in my heart of hearts, that she deliberately was like, see, if you would have gotten engaged to me, we would have been taking it slow like you wanted, and we both would have gotten a win-win scenario, but you didn't want to play by the rules of the Bachelorette. So now here you are single, and here I am engaged with what I want, with my ring, with my mediocre man. Whatever. Like, like, the way she kept trying to put salt into his clear pain. My man was crying backstage before they called him out. He's clearly affected by this. And
because she had actual emotions towards Rachel instead of a fucking sales pitch.
No, but here's the kicker. She is just as affected as he is, but she's playing it off really cool. So this is one of the reasons why I really wasn't getting jiggy with Rachel halfway into the season. Because she has this air of, I have my shit together, but she is just as flawed as everybody else on this show.
Girl, yes. And that's the other thing. And the moments when it came out were her moments with Peter. Because he actually broke through her bullshit. Actually.
Yes.
Like, did.
Right.
And she was angry that he broke through and didn't, like, come through with what she wanted to save her on the other side.
I don't want you to look like a punk. Especially as a black woman on the show. But at the same token, like, this kind of air of I got it all together. And I don't know if she felt the pressure to do that because she's the first Black bachelorette or because that's who she truly is. I genuinely don't know, but it didn't sit right with me in my spirit.
Yeah. So this is one thing I will say. Before we move on, I want to give her one thing because I am completely pissed at Rachel. Like, I have no redeems for her. And not just because of that she didn't pick Peter. It's the way that it happened and why.
I agree.
But the one thing I will say is perhaps, because she was the first Black bachelorette and because Black women in general have a history of not getting their day and their time in the sun and their parade and their rainbow and their fantasy ending. There was a part of her that said every other bachelorette, and not every other, but most of the other bachelorettes get this moment. And I deserve this moment. And if you can't give it to me, that makes you not the person for me. Because I will not be on here and be a first and be the Jackie Robinson and accept less than what other women have accepted.
So
that just makes me a second place bachelorette. So for that, if that was her reasoning, it's fucked up, but I understand it because it's millions of people watching.
Yeah,
but that proves that she's more caring about what other people think instead of about what.
Oh, well, absolutely. I think I agree with you. So this is why I kind of have like this neutral air about this because this is where I netted out to this afternoon, where I really sat and thought about it. And I agree with you that she cares about other people think. I think it's easy for us to be on the other side of the aisle being like, you shouldn't care what other people think. But we also don't have like tens of millions of people watching us who will get into our social media and like write comments and be like, girl, you picked the wrong man, which people are doing. Or like send death threats or send death tweets like, oh, you know, or send racial tweets about your choices. Like, I've never lived that life and I don't want to live that life. So I don't know what that pressure looks like. So I agree. Do I think it's fucked up? Yeah. But do I understand? Yes. I think that's why she became kind of like the company woman of the Bachelorette. Not only for the benefits, but realistically, I think there's an assumption of, I have this protection now that even despite the fact that I am Black, I still should be getting the same equal treatment as every other Bachelorette. I should be getting committed to. I should be getting a ring. I should be getting engaged. And also, another aspect of it is, she's the oldest Bachelorette. So imagine how the optics look when you are the oldest Bachelorette, you're the oldest Black woman Bachelorette, and you're not getting the commitment that every other one of these young blonde bimbos are getting. I'd feel away. I definitely would feel away. So I get it to a certain degree. Do I agree with it? No. But if at the end of the day, she viewed this more as a step up to be the Jackie Robinson, and there is some type of like business transaction for this marriage with Brian, which I still don't think is going to happen, but hey girl, whatever, like, then that's her call. Do I agree with it? No, but there are definitely people who do not marry for love and they marry for
oh, they won't get married. They'll do like what the last Bachelor did with his girl. They stay together, they do a TV show, or they do a bunch of endorsement deals, they make some money, and then they break up. Right. Now, the kick with this couple, though, is like, I hate to cut to the end of the page. They're not going to be booked for as much as someone else because people are pissed. Even Jimmy Kimmel was ripping on these motherfuckers in the episode afterwards. So, like, this is not going to end the way that they wanted it to at all.
I would like to start with, before we get into the Brian proposal and talk briefly about Brian, as briefly as humanly possible. Hey guys, it's time for Joy's social media corner.
Yes, Lord.
Our special guest is Brian, the scammer who scams. Now listen, we have been talking about all this season that Brian is a scammer. He is a messy bitch that lives for drama like Joanne, and we now have evidence of that on the Instagrams. So if you look up, and I'm going to pull up for you, you fine, beautiful people, because I care. I do the research. I am a journalist, so I got y'all, right? I'm going to make sure y'all know the people that are getting picked. He is the Brian, Bryan, like an annoying person, because why are you not spelling Brian traditionally? Last name, Abasolo. Abasolo? I'm pronouncing his name wrong, probably. So we all know that our man Brian is a chiropractor from Miami, which is very interesting because his bio says he's a natural doctor. Which, if you scroll down to 2015, my man was pushing that Herbalife, but he's selling some merch on the link of his Instagram page from this place called VIP Swag. And you're probably wondering, well, Joy, what does that mean? What is that? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean he's selling merch? He's selling merch called the Brian Abasolo Collection. And some of the things include Dr. Abs cosmetic case, where it's a picture of a man's six-pack abs with the words Dr. Abs written on the pec. We got to find yourself a Jerome cosmetic case and mug. I'm not understanding the find yourself a Jerome, because I know Rachel has said in some of her posts, like, you know, come meet me and Jerome for the first time, blah, blah, blah. Is that just a regular random name that she picked, or?
No, that's a random name that she picked, which, by the way, like, I'm doubly pissed about, not to go into details, but that's my father's name. I was like, this bitch.
That was my, God rest the dead, that was my great uncle's name, and I loved him dearly, so I was very upset too. Here's my favorite one. If the love doesn't feel like R&B, I don't want it. A love like R&B mug. He has Dr.
It's supposed to be, and just so you know, he fucked up the Tumblr thing. It's supposed to be like, if the love don't feel like 90s R&B, because you have to be specific on the time frame. Like,
no. This asshole was meaning R&B like Rachel and Brian. That's why he wrote it. If the love don't feel like R for Rachel and B for Brian, and this motherfucker thought that we were gonna be okay with this. He has posted a Hotep meme before in 2015. Just some of that Hotep art that y'all love seeing on Instagram and making fun of people doing. He has done that. At the end of the day, his Instagram is weird. He's a weirdo. He is clearly a scammer. And what is it going to take for y'all to realize this, Rachel? I don't know. But we're going to close out Joy's social media corner just to say that. Also, I got to shout out my man, Eric Bigger. On Instagram. Be blessed by that beard, guys. Like, man, that is a beautiful black man. Yes. Anyway, continue.
He really is. So, this is the other thing I'll just go ahead and say before we leave Joy's corner. Rachel is still not down with Peter being the Bachelor. She put out that, you know, I feel manipulated.
Wait, she tweeted this?
No, she did an interview.
Ooh.
Yeah. When interviewed with E.T. about her relationship, she put, I feel a little bit manipulated. I have no idea. The lack of commitment that you're telling me that you wanted a future with me, but you didn't have the actions to take it, that's ridiculous. And she said that.
Oh.
Yep. And yeah, and we already know she don't think he should be the Bachelor.
Oh, girl, like, I think at this point, and this is where my frustration comes. Rachel is very quick to shade people when she feels like she's on the defense, but she's never shady on the offense. Because you could have changed the game up. But you chose not to. And I'm not mad at you for that. But, like, yo, you can't portray yourself as this, like, I'm different than other bachelorettes, like, da-da-da. No, you're not, girl. You don't want to be different than other bachelorettes. That's what makes me mad. Like, if you really was just like, hey, I'm a company girl through and through, like, this is what I'm interested in, I want the real process. Like, I want the traditional bachelorette process. All right, sis. I don't agree with it. But I'll be like, okay. But then don't do these, like, shady comments and back and forths and stuff like that. Like, that's not who you are. Like, and if that is who you are, you can't be both because they're very conflicting in personality. It seems like you're faking one or the other at different times, and that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you talking about the eyelashes?
Girl, yeah. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I'm just not going to lie to you. Like, this whole process made me so upset.
Well, I'll talk about the eyelashes briefly and let you just like have a second to stew. Yo, I never thought I would do this, but what's going on with fuck the hair and makeup department? I've been wanting to say this. Fuck the hair and makeup department of ABC and whoever is the Bachelor franchise. Her weaves have not been secure. Her edges have not been laid. They've been brittle and thin. Mm-hmm. Her hair always has flyaways. None of it has been smoothed down in between takes.
In the proposal, there was a dead face track showing. Like, I know you saw that.
I'm not even gonna get into it because I'm getting mad thinking about it. Here's where the makeup department gets the fuck you. Y'all keep putting Rachel in these goddamn super sparkly Claire's eyeshadow like she ain't a 32-year-old woman. What is wrong with you? Stop making her lips match her outfit. This is not the 90s. And then most importantly, I don't care how hard you're crying. Regular salt and tears should not have your eyelashes flying completely off. What kind of glue are y'all using? This is not, y'all are not, nobody is of high caliber.
Why couldn't they just go get eyelash extensions like the normal population? That shit stands up to
But this is the shit that makes me mad. Do you know how many black women and femmes are on Instagram dying to get work? This is like the Medusa and human thing all over again. You know how many black women and femmes are on YouTube slaying a wig for $10 and y'all couldn't hire none of them? Like this stuff, like shit like this makes me upset. Like this is what makes me upset, where I'm just like, yo, what is good? And why are you treating the black bachelorette like this? You know damn well she got a weave. And unless y'all not gonna let her have her braids, why do y'all consistently put her in makeup and hairstyles that are not secure for these high quality wig
Why
things?
couldn't they just put her in those Zoe Kravitz braids for the season? It would have been cute. She could have done.
She had on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. I was like, these are cute. That's my thing. It's like, y'all, this bitch loves high adventures. She loves being on some type of helicopter or hot air balloon. Like, girl, you know this is high altitude. What are you doing? What are you doing? Mm-mm. Like, stuff like that just air. And then, Peter, man, you're gross. Somebody should have picked up them goddamn eyelashes after the first day. After the first couple of hours. Why
you know what, though? Wait a minute, though.
For 2 days.
I've been that girl, and I had a breakup, and it was a t-shirt. And I just could not either A, get rid of it or
Jacqueline,
move it.
You are not going to quantify t-shirts to eyelashes on somebody's fucking eyes.
No, but he didn't have any t-shirts because they didn't live together. There wasn't. What else is he going to have?
Side note, people were asking why Peter ripped off his shirt because she cried all over it. And I thought I saw that his sweater was mad wet. So he had to take it off because it was wet. He didn't just rip off his shirt like Omarion in the Icebox music video. Like it legitimately was. She soaked through his sweater because she was crying hella hard. Listen, I'm not saying that I find people crying attractive, but listen,
Peter crying, girl.
Woo! It busts my spirit.
Let me just say this right now, and I've said it before. I am not kidding you. Let's talk about what Jacqueline did today, and then we need to wrap this shit up because I'm still pissed. Like it's
right. Well, okay.
There was a best gift from last night, and it was the Regina George from Mean Girls. It's like, if you felt personally victimized by this season finale of The Bachelorette, raise your hand. And I'm just like, yes. Ugh. But let me just say this.
Yes.
Peter is a personal trainer, so you got to be fit. If this was Eric, I could take my thick hips and thighs onto The Bachelorette and it would be okay. I'm finding out the timeline for The Bachelor. And if I could drop 20 pounds and get some 20-inch tracks, I will fucking be there. I may audition just thick and see what happens because Rachel wasn't exactly not thick in the right place.
Bring a brush because they ain't going to take care of you over there.
Girl, no. I will definitely have my braids and they can fuck off. But girl,
at least have long braids. Like, really fuck the game up.
I wear my shit natural, too. Maybe they'll deal with that because it's ABC. But you never know. Fuck them either way. I'm so done with these people. So done.
Okay,
anyway.
So, let's talk about two more things.
Yeah.
We get to the proposal. So, here's the interesting part. When they talked about when they had the live reaction after that bootleg proposal, Brian mentioned he didn't know what was going on. So nobody informed him that he would be the only one on the goddamn mountain or the castle.
They never do.
So that was fun, but he must have been surprised, like, wait, hold on, there should be 2 roses. There's only 1. This is gonna be easy. My man skate. You know, we've been talking about Eric has skated through.
There's always only 1 rose. There's always only 1 rose.
Right, but I'm talking about, like, he was probably confused, like, where the fuck is? Wait, where's Peter? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, but he doesn't know what order they go in. So this is the way it normally works. They walk up. She lets both of them get down on one knee. She tells one of them, "I'm sorry," and then she goes with the other one.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah. Remember how we said that Eric has skated through the season? I'm not gonna lie. The person who skated the best and the brightest was Brian this last episode. My man had no issues because they focused so much on goddamn Peter that all he had to say was like, "Hey, I love you and I love you forever and I'll be engaged to you." And he won by saying he did. You know how like Deadpool is like it's all about maximum effort? He did minimum effort.
Doing the least. You're not doing the most. You're doing the least.
No, but actually he did the absolute least. All he said was, "I love you. I'll love you forever. I'm looking forward to being engaged to you. Like, I can't wait to get down on one knee." Like all this other buttery shit.
And give her that ugly ass tear-shaped diamond. What
it's
the
so
fuck?
tacky. It's so tacky. I'm sorry. But you know what? Did you see? And this is when I knew this shit was fake. Because TJ Holmes, who has been a follower of this show all this season, and actually got cool with Rachel, and they tweet each other every episode, right? He said something that I was like, yes. He was like, something don't feel right. Like the proposal, nothing about that proposal felt right in my spirit. Like genuinely something in the water was not clean for me. Like none of it was genuine. I wasn't moved. I wasn't even elated or excited.
I wasn't even angry. I was still thinking about Peter.
It was the most false proposal I have ever seen. Like it was like the acting was awful. So like he, speaks his fake Spanish and, talks to her and blah, 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 proposes. And he says, "Can I love you forever, forever?" And she says yes. And didn't even say like nothing. She didn't even say like right after like, "I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you," in reciprocation. She's just like, "It's so pretty. Give it to me." And I sat there.
Because this is the thing. Don't forget this. Do not forget this. And this is something somebody on Twitter pointed out to me. Remember this. From the very beginning until the last episode, Rachel said one thing. "I'm here for a ring."
That's
you know what she didn't say? I'm here for
love. You know what? You goddamn right. You know what? I recant my statement. No, actually, no. I don't recant my statement. It just makes my statement more sad. But whoever said that, whoever you are in the Twitterverse, you are absolutely correct. She has made it very clear that she wants a ring. Never along those lines. She was like, "I'm going to follow my heart for this ring."
No, that's exactly what it is. I'm not, that's it. And this is the thing. I personally am betrayed by that ideal. And I just want to sum this up. And I really do not want to talk about these people anymore. And especially not Rachel and Brian.
We're going to talk about the last piece, but yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about Bachelor in Paradise and the next Bachelors, but then I'm out because I cannot invest any more in this because I am so disgusted with Rachel. This is the reason why I know this. Because again, we talk about the first time I saw Me. Well, this is a show that I've watched for 15 years. This is the first time I had a bachelorette who I felt, if I was in this position, I would feel some of the things that she felt. And then some things I did feel. Like, as someone that dates, multiple races, I would feel this pressure to be like, I don't want to look like I'm a woman that is not, wanting to date black men if I don't choose. You know what I mean? Like, that's a pressure. That is a pressure. Unless you choose nothing but black men, you are going to have that pressure. Being on this show, how are people going to take your hair, your culture, your family, and all of the things that she felt? I was like, man, I know I can deal with it. And for certain moments in this show, I felt that Rachel was my representative. But in this episode, she betrayed everything that is me because, look, I'm a 30-plus black woman with good credit, no kids, and a great job. I do my life. I do what I want. And I've never made apologies for that. But I exist in a world, and especially within my family, where they always question those decisions because I don't want to get married, and I don't want to have a ton of babies, and I want to do this life. And I am told in every turn from my family and a lot of people in my Southern Christian, Judeo-Christian circle that what I'm doing is wrong. I don't care how successful I am. What I'm doing is wrong because I should be having babies. She betrayed all of that by sacrificing herself and her identity for a ring. And that is what I strive in everything I do to try and be against. So if it means that I get to be alone, fine. But I will do me, and I will be happy in me before I will sacrifice for a ring. And she just betrayed all that. And so I'm done. I'm done with her. I have nothing.
Oh, that's wow. I tweeted about this earlier today. I think if anything I learned from this season of The Bachelorette is two things. Man, life is hard and relationships are hard, and I feel for and get what Jacqueline is saying in terms of, hey, like, you're gonna have these impasses and it's hard for that breakup. But man, communication is key. Like, when people tell you what they want, you have to take them at face value. Or else you are spinning around in circles and spinning off the rails for no damn reason. If I like apples and I made it clear I like apples, and I made it clear I like apples from day one, and you like oranges and you've made it clear that you like oranges, and you've made it clear that you like oranges from day one, we're gonna always be at an impasse, whether it's earlier or later. It's better off for both of us if we just cut ties earlier, because then we don't waste our time. It's the time wasting where it's just like, it doesn't make sense to me. That's the first thing that I learned. The second thing I learned is love has to be based in reality at the end of the day for me. The whole hopping around Europe for 2 months and then expecting engagement, it doesn't, the math doesn't add up for me. And I'm gonna add a third thing. The third thing is, though I don't agree with it, if you are searching for a ring and you want your marriage or your engagement to be a business transaction, that's fine. Hey, bruh, run for the hills if that's the case. And I'm talking about for men or women. Run for the hills if you're looking for love. Like, myself personally, I have an interest of getting married. I have an interest of getting married and having children. I have an interest of, not necessarily having a home, but like sharing a life with someone for a long period of time. My parents have been married for 26 years. They've had definitely their ups and downs, but they genuinely love each other. But let me tell you something. This really reaffirmed to me of what I don't want in a relationship. And we've talked about like my lack of relationships throughout the season. This ain't it, man. Like, this ain't
it for me though. This is what it affirmed to me, is like,
no, I agree with you.
I'm gonna be me, because if I was Rachel and on that show and I did that, I would feel like I betrayed every ounce of my being.
I'm with you. But what I'm trying to get at is that not only is it this ain't for me, like, it made me make sure to check myself to make sure that as I am getting older, that I'm not chasing a ring, but I am chasing love.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think that I had to do a self, like, you have to do like a self check, like, are you good? Like, are you doing the right? Are you being the best Joy? Are you being the best Jacqueline that you can be?
Yeah.
And if so, why or why not? And how do you self correct? Watching this season made me like gut check as I'm getting older. Like, I just turned 26, so now I'm in the second half of my 20s officially. Like, I had to do a gut check of, are you, as the time kind of like gets longer and you start to get older and you do eventually get into relationships, are you chasing a ring, or are you looking for love that somehow you can foster, that you do get married, because that is a goal of yours. But there's a difference between like, it's a goal for me to eventually get married versus I want a ring for day one. Yeah. That's two different goals, right? So I had to do a gut check for myself, and I agree with you. Rachel didn't represent me, but you know what? Rachel was a good representation of what I could be if I don't watch myself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree on that one. Moving on to
last piece,
the Bachelor in Paradise promo, which they played. Ugh.
So tap me in.
This was nauseating.
Yep, tap me in because I'm angry. Now this is where I can give y'all my full anger, because I kept it real. I kept it genuinely neutral, and I told you I was gonna black out. This is where my blackout's coming from. Yo, I've been saying this since the beginning. Yo, fuck ABC. Fuck ABC. Fuck Chris Harrison. Fuck those producers. Fuck those cinematographers. Fuck the people who are filming this shit. Fuck y'all. Because we talked about this last week, where we were like, yo, ain't no way in hell these motherfuckers are stupid enough to show any of the footage leading up to the Corinne and DeMario sexual assault allegations. Ain't no way they dumb. They've been doing this shit for 15 years. I don't have to worry about it. We just gonna keep going. Fuck y'all. Because I didn't think that y'all would be that stupid. Ooh, but stupidity runs all throughout everybody in this goddamn franchise. From Rachel to Brian to the rest of these men to definitely Chris Harrison and all of motherfucking ABC. Listen. The fact that y'all have been doing the marketing leading up to this trailer, talking about it's the most controversial season, bringing up the tweets of like, oh, it's going to be going away. Oh, yeah, it's back. I knew y'all were trashed then. But yo, there is a special place in hell for y'all. And I'm being dead serious. I am so genuine about that. Because y'all dead showed them in the pool together. Y'all dead had people talking about at some point, and now production is cutting, and the producer in the background being like, hey, can I talk to you for a second, to Corinne, and her face, and you're seeing her face. Y'all ain't shit. And then try to put it in the front half like the rest of the trailer would make us forget what we just saw. Y'all are going to hell. Girl. And listen, this is where my spiritual, y'all are going to hell. Whatever underworld you believe in, or if you don't believe in anything, you just think that when people die, they are in this random stasis. Yo, karma is coming back to y'all. I promise you. As somebody who does marketing for a living, this is the worst shit you could have ever done. Why are you using sexual assault allegations as a marketing ploy? Nah, fuck y'all. As a marketing professional, y'all shouldn't be working in this business anymore. Fuck y'all.
Yep. Yeah. No. I will just tell you, I'm not in any way surprised. I never watched Bachelor in Paradise. It's trashy as fuck. I hope this backfires on them.
And I get it. Like, I know that there's definitely trashy television. I'm not surprised about this trashiness. But there is a line that you should not be crossing in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not even saying that I'm disappointed, because for me to be disappointed, that means I had hope in you, and I never have hope in any of these folks after this season. But man, I am genuinely grossed out and disgusted. And if anybody on my timeline is gonna be watching Bachelor in Paradise after that garbage dumpster fire of a trailer, do me a favor, block me now.
Yeah. No, No, I'm out on it. The only thing I will say, and I'm not going to watch it, but I will follow like the online chatter on it, and this is the reason why. This was awful. Like, every ounce of goodwill I had towards Rachel burned down in 3 hours of just bullshit. But there is one minor silver lining, and that is that we may get a season of Peter as the Bachelor. And at this point, it's his to lose. But, I will just tell you, this has happened before. Nick Viall, the guy who ended up being the Bachelor that picked Rachel, that then made her the Bachelorette, he was not supposed to be the Bachelor. The person that was supposed to be the Bachelor was Luke from JoJo season. Exact same situation. He was a guy that was late, that couldn't commit to JoJo the way that she wanted him to commit. The difference between JoJo and Luke was JoJo sent him home before like the final two, because he couldn't tell her he loved her, and he couldn't make all of the, it wasn't even like he couldn't propose. It was that he couldn't get to the point of affection that she was at. That's a mature and responsible decision. That's not what Rachel did. Anyway, it was his to lose. Comes out later, he just recently wrote an article about it saying like his bags were packed. They told him he was the Bachelor and he was getting ready to go. And it was Nick's season of Bachelor in Paradise that made them change their mind and quickly make him the Bachelor instead. And people were shook. Like, people were not like, why? You know, there's a whole bunch of reasons why they ended up going with Nick. He kept hanging around. He'd been on 2 Bachelors in Paradise. He'd been on 2 seasons of The Bachelorette until he eventually became the Bachelor. So I think that we're going to get Peter as the Bachelor, unless the only thing that could possibly change that is if Dean or one of the guys on Bachelor in Paradise comes out of that to become the Bachelor. Because of everything that's happened, I don't think that's likely to happen, but I'm at least going to pay somewhat attention to it, because if anybody comes out of Bachelor in Paradise shining well, they could well become the Bachelor, and that would be stupid. I will
say this, Dean definitely got a lot of screen time in that second half of that trailer.
Yeah. And he got a lot of screen time in the Men Tell All. Like, Dean in general is definitely one that I think they're putting up as like, hey, if we have America, fight. But I will tell you this, what they did with that finale, to me, says that they don't know if they can get Peter, and so that's why they're putting up Dean. Because this shit was shot months ago. So they've known for months this is what we have, and they've known for months, look, America's going to go nuts for this shit, and it's definitely going to be after Peter as the Bachelor, but we don't know if we necessarily, like, they don't want to have a repeat of Juan Pablo, which is a guy who was the Bachelor, who was very indecisive. And like they need somebody that's like gonna give them what they need, as you say, be a company man, and he is clearly not.
Which is Dean full circle. Yeah, like full circle. When they announced in the beginning of this episode that Juan Pablo found love and nobody clapped, was the funniest shit ever.
Yeah, you don't know who that is, but yeah, he was literally up until this moment. You did?
He was the one who didn't pick anyone, right?
No, he picked someone. He was the one at the end who was like, "I like you a lot."
Oh, that was him. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway,
okay, let's close it out with some positivity. Let's just talk really briefly of what this season has meant for you.
Reclaiming my time. That's what it fucking meant. I'm still salty. Like, I can't. You need happiness right now, and I can't have it unless Peter becomes the Bachelor.
I'm gonna be the happy person then.
This is such a role reversal too, because you were so angry at the show through all of the season. And I was like, yeah, but it's good.
You know why? Not only have I made peace with it, I'm just glad I don't have to watch this shit every Monday now. I'm genuinely happy. And I love recording with you. I hate it. Because it's a legitimately additional hour that I could be sleeping.
Yes,
I waste like at least 3 to 4 hours on this show a week, and I'm reclaiming my time. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm happy. You. So listen, thank you guys. This was a random experiment. Give you a little peek under the curtain. Jacqueline had an idea of just covering this season. She was supposed to have other guests as a co-host. Shit fell through at the last minute, and next thing I know, I had a DM like, "You still interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. I don't got nothing else better to do." And we're here. So it's been a bumpy ride. Like, not consistent episodes coming on Spreaker. Trials and tribulations with sound.
Yes, girl.
Blackouts. Stressful times.
Yes,
Jacqueline had to do con coverage. We had a guest. Like we literally went through the ringer to at least provide you with semi-consistent content for this whole season. I don't know why any of y'all listen to this shit, to be truthful.
This episode to me, I feel like pays it off though. I really do.
No, and I agree with you. Like we literally had no format. We were just gonna talk through how we felt every episode, give our predictions. And none of us are happy. Nobody pretty much in America is happy on how this season panned out. But I learned a lot. I feel like I grew as a person. I actually learned some life lessons, believe it or not, from this bullshit. I learned about being consistent in doing something and seeing it through, especially on a podcast format. So, man, I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out with us. Like, we're just random voices that y'all don't know. We both have day jobs. We both do other things with BGN. But it meant a lot to us to at least give you something to listen to from a Black woman's perspective. Because let's be honest, we don't have a lot of Black content when it comes to reviewing the Bachelor franchise, let alone from Black women. So we wanted to at least give you something special. So I just wanted to say, take the time out to be like, yo, thank you for hanging with us. You didn't have to listen. You could have been like, girl, fuck this. Who cares? You could have been like, fuck BGN. You could have did a lot of things, but you stuck with us. You stuck with us for the season, through everything, and I just want to say I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I will agree on that positivity, and I will make this commitment, though she has told me it will take more than I have to give. If Peter becomes the Bachelor, I will DM Joi daily to try and get her to do this again, because I do feel just the chance to watch that man, I think she might do it. Team Peter. That's my parting shot.
All right, thank you guys. This is gonna be weird not recording an episode. I'm happy about it, but man. Last thing. Diggy. I will come out of retirement for this podcast, just for you, my dear. You beautiful, nerdy chocolate man. Bow ties.
I love him. And your bow ties, boo.
Your bow ties, your sneaker collection, whatever you do, you're a funny man. You deserve somebody to kick it with on a podcast format. We should be the people. Like, contact us if you are listening. If you got a friend, you, your mom, and your cousin too, whoever that is listening, can y'all just pass this along to Diggy? I'm going to keep tweeting him. Jacqueline's going to keep tweeting him until we get at least one episode. It could be a month from now. It could be 2 weeks from now, where we just get a guest episode of us interviewing him and talking shop about this season. So with that, I will say thank y'all for rocking with us. We fuck with you greatly. We love you greatly. And have a nice life.
All right. Bye, y'all.